Shalom. The title of this video is The Dangers of Consuming Wheat Flour, and which contains a high amount of gluten. Okay, I haven't made a video in a while. Nothing new has really been going on in the world, other than all this COVID-19, businesses closing, whatnot. But nothing really like groundbreaking or anything. So I haven't really I haven't seen anything in the news, or I haven't discovered anything that I need to make a video on, but I have been working on my health, right? This is like a constant battle in this place about your health. And I have made previous videos regarding health, mainly about soy, but this one is about gluten. And this video will explain a lot about gluten. And I'm going to play a video. I'm going to state fair use under the Google Copyright Infringement Act. And I'll show this just short video on YouTube in just a moment. But I just want to preface by saying that if you care about your health, this video is really for anybody. I mean, not necessarily for my specific people, but just for anyone who's trying to be health conscious, who's trying to improve their life. This stuff will wreak havoc on your digestive system. You'll have like a perpetual problem, like basically forever, unless you stop consuming this. Now, with everything else that you know in life, and I have stated about the quality of food, and I shop on a website called North Star Bison. This is where I get my meat and my cheese from. I don't consume pork as being an unclean animal. But I mean, if you really want to consume pork, I would probably recommend getting it from North Star Bison if you did, or maybe going to hunt some wild boar yourself, because they use some type of what is it that they use? They use let's see. They use I'm gonna go here really quick into my favorites. They use something called let's see. Here it is. In most of the pork consumed within the United States, there's a substance called ractopine, right? And it says here that it's banned in 160 nations, right? This is kind of going off topic of this video, but this is just, the topic of this video is about nutrition, but this is one of the reasons why we were forbidden from consuming pork. But even then, now, like I said, if you buy a better quality of pork, again, I don't know what your race is, but this is specifically, meaning like the people who follow the Torah, right? And Muslims follow the same thing. They don't eat pork either. But you can see here that the pork used in the United States is banned. Like I say, this stuff is banned in 160 nations. But this ractopine stuff, not pork is not banned, but this ractopine is in U.S. pork. And again, this is probably for all the pork that you would buy from like on a pizza, all the pepperoni, the sausage, the bacon. And this is for the cheap stuff. This isn't all of the pork, but this is probably for what the average person would probably consume, not the person who would go buy some higher quality stuff. So again, even if you consume pork, I can't tell you not to consume pork. That's up to you and your religion. But if you do, and again, this is just for any person that's health conscious, I would still buy a better quality of pork from like maybe a farm somewhere that doesn't use ractopine, maybe a soy free pork or pig, something of that nature. But this is just something you might want to look up. What is ractopine? This is just an article here that I found under livescience.com, right? You just Google this and it'll come up. It'll tell you about this stuff, right? There's some chemical that they use. This is just one of the many things of how, or the many ways of how food is adulterated in this country and corrupted in this country. Is it just here? I don't know. But this place is, I don't know. It's a lot of strange stuff that these people do. But, a lot of the people here in this country are the poor of the other places, like, Italian, Spanish, all these different places. They send their poor here to work. Like, that's why I always reference that America is like Egypt. This might be really from the land. We might really be standing on the land of ancient Egypt as well, or at least part of this country is. But, this place has the spirit of Egypt, like oppression, right? How Pharaoh used to oppress people. Like Pharaoh, if you read in the Bible, it talked about how Pharaoh was the first person to charge people to bury their dead. So this is a form of oppression of poor people. See, a rich person wouldn't matter because they have the means to do it. But if you're a poor person, you don't have the money to bury your dead. So this is something that should be free if you're part of a civilization, right? So this is just, so that what they be doing, what they do to these pork and other processed foods and the chickens and what they feed them and how they're inhumanely raised. This is just another form of this oppression. It's just a form of oppressing people, but some people don't really care though. So if you're one of these people that don't care, this doesn't pertain to you. But if you care about your health, then this pertains to you. So I want to kind of get back on topic, and I want to show this video, and I already stated fair use under the Google Copyright Infringement Act. But I just want to show you the difference between this gluten and, and like I said, some people, they have a lot of wheat warnings on the back of food labels. Like you look at mostly anything, there's now a law that you have to specify if some food contains wheat, or if it's produced in a facility that also produces meat, soy, wheat, milk, eggs, things like that. And the reason why it has to do that is because a lot of the, especially with like the milk and the eggs, because a lot of the milk and the eggs is produced from cows that are sick. And they're sick because they feed them soy and things of that nature and different grains when cows were designed to eat grass. So they get sick and they give them antibiotics and different things, and then they're pumping them up on hormones and steroids. And I'm pretty sure that some of the cows that this milk comes from, they look like some some mutant cows. Like you don't even know how the animals look. Like we talking about the average food products come from that's sold in your grocery stores or just added to foods, to processed foods. You don't even know where this stuff comes from. You don't even know what the animals look like a pig or a cow. They probably look like some type of mutant or something. I mean, you see that at different places. Like you'll see like a real big piece of chicken from like Popeyes or Church's Chicken. I remember Church's Chicken, used to eat that back in the day. They had like real big, like you would see like a real big chicken breast, like a huge chicken breast. Like, man, where they get these chickens from? Yeah, it's probably coming from some type of mutant, like a mutant chicken or something. Right. Okay. So I'm going to go into this video. I don't want to make this video too long. Okay. So we're going to go into Google, and this lady is just going to show the difference between modern wheat and ancient acorn wheat. Right. And if you go look up the prices online, I'll do that towards the end, and I'll show you the different price range at this. Again, this is like you said, this is back what I was saying about shopping on a site like North Star Bison, where you buy from like a specialty farm. Yeah, the food is way more expensive compared to like even going to like Whole Foods or somewhere like that. But, again, you get what you pay for in life, right? So if you drive a BMW or something, the difference between, you used to drive like a Chevy Aveo, the difference between the two cars. There's a huge difference, right? So you get what you pay for in life. Okay, so I'm just going to start this video. Sorry about the ad.
Gluten. We've all heard of it, but wouldn't it be neat if if we could actually see it and touch it and imagine how it's processed by our bodies? In today's experiment, we're going to look at two different doughs, a traditional all-purpose wheat flour dough and an einkorn dough. This is going to be super fun, so stick with us. Before we get started, let's look at the two different flours we're going to be working with today. First is just your traditional all-purpose wheat flour. The second is an einkorn flour from Young Living. And the difference between traditional wheat and einkorn wheat is that einkorn is an ancient variety of wheat. As opposed to modern wheat, which has 42 chromosomes, einkorn has only 14. Modern wheat, bread flour, all-purpose flour, and whole wheat flour being the highest in gluten, contains almost 10% gluten. Einkorn contains about 1.2%, so it's much lower in gluten. This experiment is going to give us a good representation of what that actually looks like in real life in a way that we can look at and touch. One note about the einkorn flour I use from Young Living is that Young Living purchases only virgin farmland. That is farmland that has never been treated with pesticides, herbicides, or chemical fertilizers. It's grown sustainably, it's non-GMO, and of absolutely the highest quality. So today we're going to work with both these flours, and you're going to see for yourself the difference in the amount of gluten that they contain.
Experiment here to show you the difference between wheat, and again, towards the end of this video, I'll show you the price point at Whole Foods.
Next, I'm going to weigh both balls of dough to ensure they're the same size so that it doesn't affect our results. This one's 414 grams, and that is our ball of wheat dough. And our ball of einkorn dough is also 414 grams. Now on to the next step. As you can see, there's virtually nothing left in the strainer. There's not even enough for me to gather into a ball to compare with the wheat flour. All the starch is rinsed away, and there's no gluten, really, to speak of left in the strainer. So as you can see with the wheat flour, I continue to rinse and rinse and rinse until the water ran clear. And this wad has all of the starch rinsed away, and this is not going anywhere. I continue to rinse it, and it never got any smaller. So this is all of the pretty much straight up protein, the gluten that's left from that 414 gram ball of dough. Wow. Look at that. Look at how stretchy and rubbery it is. My goodness. Huge difference between the einkorn and the wheat flour. Huge difference. So that is the gluten that's left from that one little orange-sized ball of wheat flour dough. Can you imagine having that in your intestines? Trying to digest it and break it down?
No, wow, it's like rubber. It's very elastic. Oh. Man. Well, it certainly makes it gooey and gives it the texture that people probably want.
Yep.
But I'm sure your intestines just abhor it.
And you wonder why so many people have problems with digestion and their skin, because your skin is your body's largest organ of elimination.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can't eliminate through your bowels, you're going to push all your toxins out through your skin.
Mm. Wow.
And there was nothing left from the einkorn. Nothing.
Really?
Nothing at all. I couldn't even gather it into a ball. There was nothing left. It all rinsed away.
Wow.
Not amazing?
It is.
And the taste to me is superior.
Yeah, those muffins you made were excellent. Of course, everything you make is excellent.
Okay, so I'll stop that video there. So you see here with this experiment, she basically did an experiment with ancient einkorn flour, which is more expensive. It's a more expensive form of wheat, and I'll show you the price difference on Amazon, versus the modern wheat, which is the cheap wheat. This is the wheat that they use in everything, right? And this is even including the organic kind that you buy at Whole Foods. And this was my mistake too. I'm thinking that, I shop at Whole Foods. I'm trying to improve my health, and I'm making, I make my own pizza dough. I make my own like muffins and, whatever. And whatever I want to eat, I make it myself. So if it's a cookie, if it's a muffin, it's whatever. If it's tortilla, something. Well, I make corn tortillas out of corn masa harina, but just anything, mostly like you said, most of the time that I would probably use wheat in general before I discovered this would be to make like a pizza or something, right? So yeah, that's pretty much what I did. I would make like a pizza, or sometime I would make like like some breadsticks or some like cheesy bread or something, right? Like they sell at pizza places, like the cheesy bread, which is made with basically the same as like a pizza dough, but whatever. Okay. So I'm using like good organic flour, and I started noticing that I kept being constipated, and I'm like, man. So then first I thought it was because I wasn't getting enough fiber. So I would eat like a whole bag of like frozen peas with my meal, right? Like 5 servings of peas, which is a lot, but that's good. You need that. You need that fiber, especially when you eat something kind of big with like meat and things that don't contain fiber, cheese and whatnot. And I just noticed that I kept on being constipated. And I would like fast, like I would drink a smoothie in the morning, but I wouldn't eat anything for like, I would go like 7 days, sometime even longer, and I would still be constipated. And I couldn't figure out what was doing this. So I was like, maybe I need to stop eating meat and cheese for a while. But I would do it, like I said, I would fast. And then after like 7 days or however long I would fast, I would just say, okay, I'm going to eat another pizza. And then I would do things like, okay, well, then I would make like, sometimes I would make like, I would feel like that. And I was like, okay, maybe I need some fiber. So I would make like a pancake out of like some whole wheat flour. Like I didn't use the all purpose wheat flour because I already knew that was bad because of the way that they mill it. It's really not that good for you. But I would use the whole grain variety of it. And then I was using spelt too, but spelt, it didn't really have a good texture. Like when you making pizza, it really had like more like a cardboardy texture. So I had it in my cabinet, but I wasn't really using it that much. So then about 2.5 months ago, I'm like, let me give up gluten. And I started noticing that it still didn't really resolve my problem. But I mean, I had just given up gluten. I'm like, let me just get this up for a while. So I haven't eaten gluten in about 2.5 months, and I'm still trying to expel this gluten from my system because I haven't eaten in about 2.5 months, but it's in your system. You see how that Play-Doh is, right? And when you eat the whole grain variety of this cheap wheat, it's even stronger than like the all-purpose like they're using here. So you see him playing with this Play-Doh. It's like some rubbery Play-Doh. It doesn't break down with your stomach acids and in your small intestines, and it just sits in your large intestines. It just stays there. So it's going to cause subsequent problems, like digestive problems for anything that you even eat after that. And it's just stuck in your system. So I just noticed that recently I've increased my water intake, and I don't do any like, strenuous exercises or anything. I might do like some like sit-ups or something like that. Um, but I just noticed now that it's starting to come out of my system, and I haven't, like I said, I haven't eaten it in 2.5 months, and it's starting to come out my system. So you'll see like some stool, and you'll see it look exactly like this. Like usually when you take a, I don't want to use anything profane, but like when you use the bathroom number two, I guess they call it poop. You'll look at, if you analyze your stool, you'll notice that when you flush it, it usually dissolves in the water. At least mine does, right? You flush it, the water pressure hits it, and it kind of dissolves, and it like the water just becomes really brown. But I noticed about a week ago that I had a piece of stool that didn't dissolve. It was just like this Play-Doh. It came out just like that. It was like my second poop of the day, and it came out just like the way that this Play-Doh is, right? It came out just one whole thing, and it didn't dissolve in water. It was just one hard piece, and it just came out just like that. And I'm starting to see it now. It's been about a week, and that I increased my water. I used to drink about 8 glasses of water a day. Now I start off with about 10 to 12, like first thing in the morning. And I'm trying to draw all this stuff out. I'm using like probiotic tea as well. But I've been having so many problems, and I couldn't figure out why. And it's because of this wheat. So let me just show you, I'm going to end this video soon, but let me just show you the price difference between this, right? Okay, so I'm just going to go to Amazon. And I'm going to go to let's say organic wheat flour. And then I'm going to go to Whole Foods. All right, so I'm just going to show you the difference between this price, and then I'll end this. Okay, so like you'll see here, okay, so this is a good quality brand, King Arthur flour, right? So you're seeing 80 ounces for $7.64, right? Okay, here we go. Let's look at it like this, because I'll just do it in pounds. Okay, so like you'll see here that you get, for $7.64, you get 5 pounds of King Arthur organic bread flour. So this is supposed to be good quality flour versus just some regular flour that you eat from like, Walmart or something, right? Okay, so then now this is the flour that this lady was doing on this video, and it's about $1 less, but you only get 2 pounds of it, 32 ounces. That's 2 pounds, right? So if you look at the cost difference, you'll see here like this, for $1 more versus this one, you get what, 150% more, right? So you get more than double, right? Remember, this is 2 pounds, and you get 5 pounds and another pound. So that's 150% more for basically pretty close to the same price. So you see the price difference: 5 pounds for $7.64. 2 pounds for $6.69. That's a pretty big price difference, right? Especially if you use flour a lot, right? So you see the difference there, right? And you're going to see the same thing. You could look at these different ones. And I think spelt is probably the same way. Let me see if I can find a spelt on here. Spelt is probably the same thing. Spelt is a little better too. I noticed that I could digest that better too. Let me see, spelt flour. All right, so I'm just going to show you the price difference there. So you see, it's like 100 for 100. You get 150% more flour for virtually the same price. Again, it's like $1 more, but it's still about the same price. Okay, so they might not have none here. They must be out of it. This is at Whole Foods. Yeah, they don't have any. But yeah, it's about the same price difference as this It's this jovial einkorn flour. I had looked it up before. It's not on here now, but it's probably about the same. You get it for about the same price difference, like the amount of like pounds you get for the price. Spelled is about the same way, and spelled is a little more digestible too. So, but I tried this flour. I didn't have any problems with it. I made a pizza like 2 times. Came out good. You can read the reviews on it. You could try it yourself if you have a problem. A lot of people, their digestive problems are related to eating gluten. But I mean, this is just one of the things is you might not get enough water. You might not get enough exercise. You might eat too many times a day. You might eat too much meat. It's a lot of different things, but this is one of the main reasons why you have digestive problems because it is this cheap flour. And like you said, if you go out and you buy food pretty much anywhere, I'm talking about a bagel, I'm talking about a cookie, I'm talking about Subway, anywhere, buns from just a nice gourmet type of burger place, they all use this cheap form of flour. They hardly, I doubt any of them use this like this good quality flour, this jovial. This is acorn flour. This is an ancient wheat. And she showed you that the modern wheat has 10% gluten, which is that elastic stuff, but this one only has like 1%. So I'm telling you, this is a problem. And I've been clearing this stuff out of my system. I've been really working hard and I can see it coming out. Like I say, I pay attention to my stool and I can really see it coming out, right? You see it come out. It come out like a whole piece and it doesn't dissolve when you flush it. It just come out like a whole piece, like that stuff that the guy was playing with on that video. It comes out of your colon like that. It doesn't break down in your colon. It doesn't break down in your stomach. The stomach, because your stomach contains acids and different things, right? So your stomach is supposed to break it down, and then it's supposed to break down even further in your small intestines. Then it goes into your colon, your large intestines. So it just sits there, right? It just sits there, and you still taking poops or whatever, but it's just like sitting in your system. You can't draw it out. And I just kept on feeling like this type of like spasm feeling. I don't know what you would even call it. Like it was like spasms or some type of like, I don't know. Yeah, like it's like a spasm feeling, like something keep trying to work its way out. Yeah, because my system is basically trying to work it out, but it wouldn't come out. And I had to increase my water to get it to come out. That's what really helped me. Plus drinking like that, like I said, that probiotic tea, which is like a digestive tea that they sell at Whole Foods or they sell it on Amazon too, right? It's like a traditional medicinal tea that will kind of help you too. But a lot of it just has to do with water, just drinking enough water. And that's like I said, I started off today. I started off with like 10 glasses of water, drank some tea, drank some more tea, and drank 2 more glasses of water. So I've already drank. It's like 9 o'clock in the morning. I've already drank like what 12 glasses of water. So I'm probably gonna probably still, if I eat something, I'll probably drink another 3 more glasses. But yeah, it's starting to come out though, and I'm seeing it. I'm just paying attention to my poop. So once this get out of my system, I'm never gonna eat regular wheat again. I'm never gonna consume it again ever, ever. So I just wanted to kind of share this, and I hope this information is helpful for someone. Again, I'm not like getting any money from these companies or anything. I'm not trying to like ask for money. I don't really care about getting that. This is just free information. Like I said, you'll notice through my videos, I made a couple of videos about the dangers of soy and what it does. And some people may not believe what it is, what I said it is, but you have to look at my previous videos, go through my list. I have made a couple, like 2 or 3 videos regarding soy. But like I said, you get paid, you get what you pay for in this country. So if you think you're gonna get some cheap food off the dollar menu at McDonald's, you're gonna get exactly what you pay for. Right? They have something to tailor. They have something to suit all different price ranges. Right? So if you some type of homeless person, you begging for dollars off the street, you're gonna go eat some McDonald's. If you like a middle class person, you make 60, 70, $80,000 a year, but you still eating McDonald's, you making that money for basically no reason because you just eating the same thing that a homeless person eat. So, but that's your personal choice. A lot of freedoms in this country. You can eat whatever you want to eat. You consume whatever you want to consume, but I'm noticing the difference, and you're going to get some relief. So if you battle with constant digestive issues, this is probably the main reason why. It's not the only reason why, but it's one of the main reasons why. And they tell you and they promote this 3 meals a day. I never eat 3 meals a day. I eat like 2 meals a day. I'm sorry, not 2 meals. I eat like 1 meal a day around noon. And then I'll eat maybe a snack if I get hungry. But most days I don't even snack because that food is still digesting. And I drink a smoothie first thing in the morning. So I eat 1 meal a day. And most people don't do that. Most people don't fast. They don't practice any of that stuff. And you consuming 3 meals a day, and all of your meals may include meat and cheese and and this fake we'll call it like this fake flour. You're just gonna wreak havoc on yourself. So that's why you see somebody that's like 200 pounds overweight. They're basically constipated and they have all of this gluten stuck in their system. So if they stop eating and just maybe go on like a liquid diet, just drink a smoothie, and you work real hard to flush this stuff out of your system, it might take months to come out of your system though. It's so much, and your colon stretches, right? So that's why you see somebody that's like 300 pounds. I'm sorry, not 300 pounds, but like 100 or 200 pounds overweight, and that person might probably considered obese at this point. I was at one point, I was like, I think I had got up to like 320 pounds, I think. So I was probably about 140 pounds overweight. And it was just horrible. And I just like looked in the mirror one day and I was like, I gotta change. And I just started fasting. And that like helped. Like I went like 2 days without eating. It was hard, but I just started didn't eat anything for 2 days, and I lost like 50 pounds in 1 month. I don't even know how I did it. Like I just looked in the mirror like, okay, I gotta make a change. And the weight just like flew off. And I got caught up in a hospital system because I made a mistake and went to the hospital or nothing. That's like a different story. I don't really want to get into that. I don't want to tell people not to go to the hospitals, but you just got to be careful with those people because they don't always wish to do you well. Like I'm not saying all doctors are the same because they're not, but the whole medical system is designed to keep you like to keep you coming back because it's a business. It's a for-profit business, so you have to look at it like that. But you should be, you should take more responsibility for your own health instead of running to the doctor for everything. And a lot of things that you have a problem with are related to the foods that you eat, right? Now, because some people be born with some type of thing. I mean, maybe that's what they say, but a lot of things are related to the foods that you eat. And saw another video. I don't want to make this video too long, but I saw another video about how people who have what's called baker's asthma. Why? Because let's say you worked at a bakery or somewhere like that, and you making foods that contain this cheap flour, you're inhaling it. Like if somebody was working in like a laboratory making heroin or something, you're gonna be inhaling it. So you're inhaling this cheap flour, and it's causing you to have asthma because of this cheap because of this cheap flour. Like it's crazy, right? You could look it up, baker's asthma. So yeah, so this is probably one of the reasons why a lot of people are obese, just because of like just so many mistakes. But this is one of the catalysts, like the main reasons why you would have problems is because you're eating this cheap flour. And like I said, it's in everything. Bagels, anything you buy from like a restaurant is probably going to contain this cheap flour. Why? Because the business they look at things to make profit. I mean, some places care about quality, but most businesses are about profit. They look at their ledger sheet every month or every year and they say, how can we increase profits? That's what they're in it for, right? So they say it's nothing like a home cooked meal. You ever heard somebody say that? You've seen on a video, like a movie or something, somebody like come back from the military and they say, oh, I miss a good home cooked meal. I know, because it ain't nothing like something you put together yourself, right? And I never really cooked. Like I just started cooking maybe about 2000, I want to say 2014, 2015, I started cooking myself, right? So maybe like within like the last, what is this about to be 2022? So like 8 years. So 8 years ago, that's when I lost weight and I started cooking for myself. And I had never really cooked before. I didn't grow up in a household where like my mother cooked for me or nothing like that. It wasn't anything like that. My grandmother used to cook. I used to live with my grandmother when I was younger, but she didn't really cook. She would just, open a pack of biscuits or something with just cheap flour. And, but she cooked sometime, but she just bought a lot of prepared stuff, like, prepared pie crust and pre-made pie crust and stuff like that. That's not really cooking. So you gotta care about the ingredients in your food. And this is one of the main ones you should be worried about. Like, this isn't the only thing, but this is one of the main things, right? The flour, because a lot of things contain flour, right? Pasta, bread, buns, pizza, all these different things, cookies, pastries, all these things contain bread. So if you're eating this cheap bread, this is what you're consuming. And this is where it starts off at. And I told you that I'm gonna stop this video. I don't want this to go on too long, but a lot of reasons why people are obese is because they're holding a lot of toxic waste in their body, which includes meat. They're not releasing meat because of this gluten, right? Because there's 10% gluten that's in this cheap flour. And the food producers know this too. They know the reason why people are like this, but they don't care because they're making the money off of it. They make money off of like the antacids, the Pepto-Bismol, all the stuff that you take when you constipated, whatever. I don't even know I never really took that stuff. I used to drink I used to have problems, like digestive problems, but I would usually just drink like a ginger ale or something. I wouldn't really take like Pepto-Bismol or anything like that. And you're going to notice too that if you most people who probably obese are nutrient deficient too. So their body isn't really communicating properly. So if you increase your nutrients and stuff, you're going to notice that this problem has been bothering me. Like, I have problems sleeping, and I could not figure out why I could not get this problem to stop. And I was like, wow, it must be this. And I figured out it's this gluten. And I came across that video like, wow, that was like a eureka moment. So if you like 200 pounds overweight, you just need to start cooking for yourself, and you need to make a lot of improvements. But a lot of it has to do with your digestive system. You just constipated and you holding a lot of this stuff and it will not come out. Imagine if you had that Play-Doh in your system. You eating 3 meals a day with meat. So all this meat and stuff is not going through, and you just keep eating. You never stop eating. You never fast. You never do anything. And then now you wondering why you're 200 pounds overweight, because you're holding all this waste. You need to release the waste. And this is how you do it. This is a start. This is one of the main reasons why you do it though, right? All right, so that's all I have. I hope this video helps someone. Shalom.